Welcome to the Aging with Options Show. Thank you so much for listening in our program today. I'm Chris McCutcheon. The Aging with Options Show is about seniors and for seniors and their loved ones. Our passion is to provide interesting, relevant content for seniors and their families in the Louisville area. On this program, we discuss topics such as health, senior living, long-term care, aging in place, local senior events, products and services for seniors, and a variety of other topics of interest to seniors and their loved ones. Today's seniors face a multitude of issues such as Medicare and Medicaid, preserving assets, gifts to children, wills, power of attorney, guardianship, probate, living trusts, just to name a few. Navigating the complexity of these topics is of interest to many seniors and is the focus of an elder care attorney. For the show today, I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Bernie and Rhoda Fowler. Bernie and Rhoda are elder law attorneys and practice with Kentucky Elder Law, a firm Bernie started and which is the largest elder law firm in Kentucky. Bernie and Rhoda, thank you for joining me today.
Our pleasure to be here, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to have you guys on the show. And I know a number of topics that are of great interest to our listeners. Bernie, to get us started, tell us, you began Kentucky Elder Law in 2001. What interested you in this area of law?
Well, I had moved to Louisville in 1996 and decided to go to law school late in life. And while I was in law school, aside from being told no one will ever hire me at my age, then in my mid-50s, I was looking for something that everybody else wasn't doing. And in fact, virtually nobody was doing elder law in Kentucky. It was non-existent. And I had always worked with older folks. I had a financial planning business in New York. I had an insurance business. And even when in my 20s, I was dealing with people in 50s and 60s. So it was a natural move for me to go in that direction. And it was a field that just wasn't being covered. In fact, I created an elder law course for the law school, which did not exist at the time, and took the course, and now I'm actually teaching the course.
Wow. Quite an evolution in the time that you've been in the field then.
Yes.
Right. So differentiate for us between elder law and estate planning, and why is that important?
Estate planning, and most people who deal with older folks are in the estate planning business, and they are dealing with the top 1% of the population, people who have taxable estates, which is now $5 million and up, and it may change in a couple of years. It may drop to $3 or $3.5 million, but it's a very small group, and they're looking at various tax issues and transfer of businesses and things of that nature. We're dealing with the other 99%. Ordinary folks who have worked their whole life, paid their taxes, played by the rules, and have accumulated a little bit of money and don't want it all going down the drain through nursing homes or other areas that could be avoided with planning.
Now, do the two work hand in hand, elder law and estate planning? Do they work together?
Not really. It's basically a different market. If we have somebody come in with $5 million, we'll send them to an estate planner. But somebody who comes in with, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $800,000, that's more in our realm than an estate planner.
And what estate planners do for folks who don't have the taxable estate of $5 million and up is often the complete opposite of what needs to be done for ordinary folks should they need Medicaid assistance when somebody goes into a nursing home. So people often think if they've gone to an estate planning attorney, they are covered for Medicaid things that might crop up, and generally they are not.
Interesting. Okay. Let's begin with some basic concepts, if we could. What is a power of attorney, and when is the right time to establish a power of attorney, Rhoda?
The right time to establish a power of attorney is right after you turn 18. A power of attorney gives somebody the ability to handle your finances. If you are below 18, your parents have the legal ability to handle things for you. After 18, if you're in a car accident and you're unconscious, there's nobody who can handle things for you unless you have a power of attorney or unless your family goes to court and gets a guardianship over you. So every adult over 18 needs a power of attorney document.
Wow. Okay. So something good to have in place
Yes.
in the event that it's needed, which oftentimes you wouldn't be able to predict in advance.
Correct. And you can't do it when you need it. And it's important to know that having the document does not take away your own powers and ability to handle your finances. It's just there as an emergency backup.
So if mom names her daughter as her power of attorney, daughter is not in charge of mom. She didn't suddenly become mom's mother. She cannot tell mom what to do. She just has the right to pay the bills. And if mom should end up in a hospital or nursing home, daughter can't say which kid can visit and which doesn't, even though some nursing homes think that's the case. She has no right to do that. She only has the right to pay mom's bills, and mom has not given up any of her rights, even if she is no longer competent.
Okay.
And mom can change her mind, can revoke the power of attorney if she wants somebody else to handle it. In addition, the power of attorney ends at the moment mom dies. It does not survive the second of death.
Okay. So in terms of probate and estate planning,
Right. We run into all the time. Well, mom died 3 weeks ago, or dad died, and we're writing checks because we're power of attorney. A power of attorney gives you the authority that the person has. When the person's dead, they have no authority, so the power of attorney has no authority, so you don't have the right to write checks. I said, well, we have to pay the bills. I said, well, what are you worried about? Are you worried about mom's credit rating? She's dead. You don't have to worry about it. We'll go to court. We'll open an estate. We'll follow the procedures. You'll get properly appointed, and you'll pay the bills. And creditors who are dealing with the elderly understand that people die and there can be a delay in some bills.
And there's a blank space from when mom dies, the power of attorney stops, until somebody is appointed in court as the personal representative. During that interim period, nobody has the authority to pay anything or do anything legally on behalf of mom or mom's estate.
Personal representative, formerly, a lot of people may know it as the executor of the estate.
Yes.
Right. It was executor or executrix, and that is deemed out of style, and Kentucky uses the term, the gender-neutral term of personal representative.
Personal representative. Okay, so moving on from there, tell us about the role of a power of attorney and how that differs from a healthcare surrogate.
Power of attorney is financial, and a healthcare surrogate is medical. So a healthcare surrogate can make medical decisions when the person, let's say mom, when mom can no longer do so. So as long as mom can talk to the doctor, she can tell them anything she wants. But if she gets to the point in life where she cannot communicate temporarily or permanently, then somebody needs the legal authority to speak for her. So if mom's got 3 kids, we don't want the 3 kids standing at the end of the bed arguing and the doctor doesn't know who to listen to. We want the 3 kids arguing in the parking lot, and then the person with the legal authority goes up and tells the doctor, either do this or don't do that.
Okay, very well.
Now, some people merge, some documents, they merge the two, and we don't like to do that because, to begin with, the medical community doesn't need to know who the power of attorney is at that point, and the people dealing with finances like banks don't need to have the medical information on the document.
And many people think they're covered for a healthcare surrogate because on the statutory living will form, there is a short healthcare surrogate. But if anybody were to read it, all that does is give somebody the authority to execute the living will decisions, which does not help if mom is not in a terminal illness. In addition, that healthcare surrogate has no HIPAA authority. The HIPAA privacy law that was passed in 2000 or 2001 is very specific and detailed. And if there isn't HIPAA authority, and if a doctor is really following HIPAA, he cannot talk to the healthcare surrogate, give them medical records, listen to what they say if HIPAA authority is not included.
Okay, very well. So let's transition to the consideration of receiving care at a nursing home care. Many seniors and their families will at some point have to consider that possibility. How are nursing homes typically paid for? What are the typical payer sources?
Well, there are a couple of payer sources. Medicare, and people think that Medicare. First, let me distinguish between Medicare and Medicaid. The only thing they have in common is the letter M. Medicare is insurance. Bill Gates will get Medicare when he's 65 years old because you are paying for it. It's part of your payroll deduction along with Social Security. Medicaid is an entitlement program. You get it if you meet certain qualifications, in this case, aged or disabled, ages over 65, and you meet certain financial requirements. So there are no financial requirements for Medicare other than you worked and paid into the system. So Medicare pays very little nursing home, about 8%. And to get Medicare coverage, you need to be in a hospital for at least 3 consecutive nights, not days, not sitting in the waiting room, not sitting in the ER, but admission nights, and then have a rehabilitative discharge and go to a nursing home within 30 days. Usually you go immediately. And then Medicare will pay up to 20 days in the nursing home, and then up to another 80 days with $141 a day deductible, sometimes picked up by your supplement, if you are making improvement. So if mom goes in with a broken hip, and she's probably making improvement. She goes in with dementia, she's probably not making improvement.
Okay, very well. Lots more to cover on that topic, and we'll get to more of that very shortly here. My guests in the studio are Bernie and Rhoda Fowler. Bernie and Rhoda are elder law attorneys, and their firm, Kentucky Elder Law, is the largest elder law firm in Kentucky. We're talking about helping seniors understand a variety of legal topics facing today's seniors and their families. We'll take a quick break and be back with Bernie and Rhoda and more topics of interest to seniors in the Louisville area right after these messages. You're listening to Aging with Options on 970 WGTK.